Don't you love those creepy, crawly things? You know, I used to look under rocks all the time in my backyard. I mentioned earlier that Earth Day is this Sunday, and one way to reflect on what you can do to keep our planet healthy is to head out in your own backyard. You never know what you're going to find. Will Michaels here is with us, and he is a Connecticut naturalist and helps to educate people to learn more about local wildlife. Will, thank you so much.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, now I understand you work a lot with school systems, and you've got all kinds of things going on to kind of let people know what is really out there in their own backyard.
Right. Now, all too often in Connecticut, people take our immediate surroundings and immediate habitats for granted. And my goal and mission is to educate the public on the diversity of wildlife we have right here in our own state, our own backyard, and it rivals that of the Amazon jungle or the coral reefs.
What was it that got you into this, Will? Why did you want to do it? Were you a kid always exploring or what?
I was always outside in nature growing up with my family, and it was developed into a passion of mine. And what really got me hooked were vernal pools, which are small bodies of water that harbor amphibian life. And
this could be something that made to the naked eye could just look like a puddle in your backyard, right?
And these puddles are vital for frogs and salamanders and toads, Connecticut amphibians, because they contain water for a small part of the year, which allows these amphibians to enter the water, breed and lay their eggs. And this time of year, April and even back into March, is amphibian season in Connecticut, where these small pools are teeming with all types of amphibian life. And then by midsummer, these pools are dried up, they're gone. So, as we know, amphibians start life with gills, breathing underwater, and then they exit the pool as they transform into their lunged, air-breathing adult phase. And
now, you brought some stuff here today. Before, and I also know you do some very cool video work, and you get out there and crawl around in there and get some great shots. But before we go to the video, tell me a little bit about what's actually here on our desk.
Well, we have our underwater camera that we use to film underwater of the vernal pools. And we'll take a look at those clips in a few seconds here. This is just a helpful book about vernal pools.
So you know what you're looking at, right?
Exactly. That's very helpful in identifying species. And we just have some generic nature items that you might find when you're out on a hike. White-faced hornet nests, some turtle shells.
Cool stuff.
But yeah, but the focus here is our camera equipment.
Yeah, well, that's it. We got to go. We got to take a look at this video because you did some amazing video. Let's look at it. What do we got here?
Okay, right now we have a yellow-spotted salamander that is migrating to a vernal pool. And these salamanders only come out 1 or 2 nights during the whole year in Connecticut. So most people never get the opportunity to see a yellow-spotted salamander. They live deep underground for the remainder, well, for 363 days. They're underground. They come out just to lay eggs during the first warm spring rains, usually in March or April. And after they lay their eggs in the pool, that's when the true magic happens. Now, some residents might be lucky if they're driving home on a rainy night in March or springtime and they see these salamanders crossing the road. Well, they're crossing the road to get someplace, and they're trying to get to these pools, which are the only place where they can reproduce. So without these pools, you know, being that it's Earth Day and we're talking about environmental awareness, these pools are indicators of a habitat's vitality. And once upon a time, people would bring canaries down into mine shafts, and if the canary fainted, it was because there were toxins in the air, toxic gas. Well, if a vernal pool, if the species in there are dying off, we know that there's something in the water that is harmful to the surrounding environment and habitat. And the next video we'll take a look at is a world rarely seen by most. We're underwater in the vernal pool, and as if environmental factors, pollution, aren't enough of a problem for these salamanders, there's tons of predators that feed on these eggs. And this is a caddisfly larva, which is feeding on Jefferson salamander and yellow spotted salamander eggs. Now, again, this looks like some kind of alien environment, and really, these are surrounding our local communities. As you said, it looks like a puddle.
Yep.
So you walk by a puddle, you take it for granted, but you look under the water in these shallow pools, and that's the kind of stuff you can see. Again, here, this just illustrates all of the interconnectivity of this microcosm. We've got a leech eating the egg, a red-spotted newt eating the egg. Those are all little invertebrates filling the camera lens, all the newts feeding on the invertebrates.
Great.
And the larger water boatman beetles dashing about the camera lens.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't. You are awesome, and I know you shoot all this stuff yourself, too, and we're out of time.
Oh,
yeah, we've
well,
got to get back into the
fast.
kitchen. If you want more information on Will Michael, the Connecticut Naturalist, you can just go to WTNace.com, and you click on Connecticut Style. Thank you so much.
Thanks
I love
for
this.
having me.